When Danny woke up that morning, at first he thought it was just another school day near the end of March. Big Brother reminded him it really was a very special day. Not his birthday, not that special, but it was still a day that Danny had been waiting for, and waiting for. A day that comes only once a year near the end of March, the first day of spring. He couldn't tell by looking out the window. It looked like winter outside. There was still some snow on the ground. But Danny was sure that something had changed up the street in the park where he played. Past the trees was the playground. The swings had been gone from the playground since last fall, but now it was spring. And if it was spring, shouldn't the swings be put up in the park again? On the way to school, Danny would pass the park. Would the swings be there? They had to be. It was spring. The snow on the ground was from last week's snowstorm. The sidewalks had been shoveled clean by the janitors. But there were big puddles in the streets. The gray, slushy piles of snow were melting. Danny's boots kept his feet dry. And it was still cold out. Even if it was spring, it still seemed like winter. The snowman that Danny and his friends had built last week was still there, but it needed help. Someone had knocked the head off. That was easy to fix. But how much longer would the snowman last, now that spring was here? The park was just ahead. But what a disappointment Danny felt. The swings hadn't been put up. But it was spring. Didn't the city know that? When would there be swings again? The first week of spring was warm and windy. March often is a windy month. By the weekend, the wind and sun had dried everything. Danny's brother had promised to go to the park with him and help him fly his kite. The sun was warm that day, and Danny wore his lighter jacket. Spring meant warmer weather. Danny's street was too narrow for kite flying, but it was just right for many other kinds of play that warm spring day. Some of the children on roller skates opened their jackets, hoping the wind would blow them like sailboats down the sidewalks. At the school, girls were playing jump rope. In the park, boys were playing baseball again. Yes, it was spring. Then Danny ran, and the wind took hold of his kite. It soared up, up. What a wonderful day. But he looked at the playground. No swings yet. March passed, April began, and the second week of spring was nearly over. After lunch that day, Danny took out the garbage on his way to school. From his back porch, he could see many other back porches and backyards where he often played. It was a world of many wooden porches and stairs, and of clotheslines that ran back and forth between them. But the clotheslines that usually held up shirts and stockings, towels and trousers, were holding up something different that day. Blankets and pillows, quilts and comforters. They were being aired out in the fresh spring wind after being used through the long winter. Across the way, one of Danny's friends called to him. He couldn't play ball today, He had to help his mother with the spring cleaning. Soon, Danny would be helping his mother, too. On his way to school that afternoon, Danny saw many things that reminded him that spring was a time for cleaning up and repair. During the cold winter, the streets had broken in many places. Now, workmen were patching the holes in the pavement. And with the snow gone, it was time for repainting the lines down the middle of the street. The ground wasn't frozen anymore, so people were getting ready to plant seeds. Janitors were digging beds for the seeds around their buildings. They were turning up worms. Danny knew that robins would be using them for food. There was a robin. Spring was here, all right. Grass had begun to grow again. Screens were being put up. Soon, insects would be flying around. In cocoons on twigs, caterpillars had been changing into moths all winter. Soon there would be new moths, and butterflies, too. Animals would begin having baby animals. Mother squirrels would soon have baby squirrels in their nests. Robins were building nests. Other things were happening. Tiny buds were turning green on bushes and trees. Some trees were beginning to flower. Everything looked green and fresh and beautiful. But why weren't the swings up? More days were passing. The trees were filled with new leaves. Everyone knew it was spring. Didn't the park people know it too? Didn't they know that children had waited through a long, cold winter without even once being able to ride on a swing? Didn't they know how much children love flying through the air? Didn't they know anything? Everything that was supposed to happen in spring had already happened. Living things were changing. Cocoons had opened. Moths had come out of them. Here was one. It would rest on a twig until its wet wings dried in the warm sun, and then it could fly away to join the other moths and butterflies. Baby robins had hatched from eggs in the nests. It was spring, but where were the swings? And then, what did Danny see? Over to the playground he ran, legs flying. Past the sand pile, past the slide, past the seesaws. The swings! The swings! They were up! It was spring. It was. Spring had come to the city.